For 2 years, he stalked my girlfriend. She was mine first, he'd whisper outside her window. I never fought him. I just waited. And then left a note on his door that ended everything. Now he's sobbing outside our apartment begging her to make me stop. I waited 2 full years before touching him. But when I did, I didn't raise a fist, I left a note. And now he's outside our apartment door, knees scraped, face wet, whispering my name like it's a curse. You ever hold onto something so long it starts to rot in your chest? That's what this was. A slow, quiet rot. 2 years of watching a man circle the woman I love like a ghost that didn't know it was dead. It started in the stupidest way possible, a DM. Zara and I had been dating maybe 6 months when he popped back up. He being Nolan. Her high school ex. The kind that clings. Thinks shared history gives him squatter's rights to someone's heart. First message was casual. Hey, have you been? Then came the saw you in that coffee shop downtown, you look good, smiley face, messages. Then the playlist links. Then the late night just thinking about you texts she never answered. That should have been it. But it wasn't. He escalated in a way that didn't feel dramatic, just constant. Like background radiation. First, he'd show up at the same bar we were at. Once is coincidence. Twice? I told myself maybe he just hangs out there. Then we started seeing him outside Zara's building. Never close. Always across the street. Standing. Watching. She started parking closer to the door. I walked her upstairs every time. The one time I didn't, she got a message from an unknown number. Red hoodie suits you. Missed that smile. We reported it. Cops said it wasn't harassment unless he did something. Zara started keeping her blinds closed. Her laugh changed, less throat, more nerves. I moved in a month later. I'm not proud of what I became. Paranoid. Quiet. Watching windows, memorizing license plates. I kept a notepad by the bed where I jot down every time we spotted him. Dates, times, what he was wearing. Over the course of 2023, I filled 2 notebooks. We tried to live normally. We really did. Zara got a promotion at work. We went to therapy. We built rituals, coffee on the fire escapes Sunday mornings, grocery trips where we'd leave notes for each other in cereal boxes. We tried. But Nolan was always just there. Once, I found rose petals on the hood of her car. Another time, we came home to a single photo, an old one from her prom night, folded in half and slipped under the door. We changed locks. Changed routines. Changed phones. Nothing changed. He never broke in. Never touched her. But the fear was a fog we lived in. And every time she cried in the shower, thinking I couldn't hear, I wanted to break something. But I didn't. I waited. Because that's what he didn't understand. See, Nolan thought this was a game of possession. Like Zara was something to win back. But I wasn't playing checkers. I was building a case. Every note. Every photo. Every video clip from our Ring camera. Every witness report from neighbors. Every single stare captured in the corner of someone's Snapchat story. I cataloged everything. Even got a buddy from college, Grant, now a lawyer, to walk me through what it would take to pursue a restraining order, a civil suit, or hell, a private investigation. But I wasn't ready to pull that trigger yet. Because I didn't want legal distance. I wanted closure. Then came the night that broke it open. Zara was working late. I was supposed to pick her up, but she texted last minute. Her coworker offered a ride. When she got home, she was shaking. Nolan had been waiting outside her office garage. Didn't say a word. Just whispered, loud enough for her to hear, she was mine first. She ran. Got in the car. Told her coworker to drive without stopping. She didn't cry when she told me. She looked tired. Something in me snapped. I spent the next week finalizing everything. Every document. Every piece of evidence. I even called in a favor from Grant's PI friend. Found Nolan's new address. And then? I left the note. Folded in half. Taped to his door. No threats. Just one sentence. Everything you've done, I've documented. Every whisper. Every photo. Every coincidence. You have 7 days to disappear. Or I make you disappear legally. I included a single flash drive. Labeled, backup 1 of 3. No name. No return address. Just facts. That was 4 days ago. Tonight, he showed up here. On his knees. Begging Zara to tell me to stop. Begging her to fix this. He thinks she's still his. He still doesn't get it. She's not mine either. She's herself. But what is mine? The silence we earned. The safety we built. The right to sleep without checking the lock twice. Tomorrow, I file the restraining order. Grant says the case is bulletproof. Me? I'm not angry. I'm just ready. Because the man outside my door? He finally understands what losing looks like. And I haven't even started yet. Update 1. I didn't sleep the night he showed up sobbing. Just sat in the hallway with my back to the door, listening to his breath hitch like a dying engine. He kept whispering her name like she was the lifeline he forgot how to hold. Like 2 years of terror didn't earn him the silence he was choking on. He stayed out there for 3 hours. Didn't knock. Didn't scream. Just crouched against the wall like a kid waiting to be picked up from school, except the only thing waiting for him was a legal boot to the neck. Zara didn't speak. Didn't cry. She watched him through the peephole until her eyes glossed over like she was somewhere else entirely. When he finally left, half-crawled, half-shuffled down the stairs like something broken, we sat on the kitchen floor and didn't move for a long time. That's when she told me the full story. And yeah, I wasn't ready for it. See, I knew Nolan had been her high school boyfriend. Knew they dated on and off for 4 years, that he was the bad boy type back then. Tattoos, angry poetry, fists that talked louder than apologies. But I didn't know about the first time he showed up after they broke up. Senior year of college. Zara had started seeing someone new, Jordan, some clean-cut engineering major who left post-it notes in her textbooks. One night, she came back to her apartment and found a shoebox on her bed. Inside? Polaroids. Dozens of them. Candid shots of her walking to class, getting coffee, talking to friends. Most had captions written in ink that bled. I never stopped watching. He doesn't see you like I do. This is forever, not pretend. She never told her RA. Never called campus security. She threw the box away and dropped out a semester later, said it was for mental health. I sat there, gripping a chipped mug with both hands, trying not to picture it. Trying not to let that familiar nausea rise up. The kind that comes when you realize the thing you've been protecting someone from already cracked them long ago. She looked at me and said, I used to think it was romantic. Like he was just hurting, you know? Then she laughed. Dry. Hollow. Turns out it was just rot in a leather jacket. The next morning I filed the restraining order. We had more than enough, timestamps, emails, photos, video, GPS-tagged screenshots, eyewitnesses. Grant helped fast-track the petition. Said it'd be on a judge's desk within a week. While we waited, I went full submarine mode. I told my job I needed a few days. Cleaned up all the digital trails Nolan might have followed, Zara's LinkedIn, old blog posts, college alumni directories, even Spotify profiles. We got a P.O. box. Set up ring cams in the hallway and stairwell. Changed our damn route to the grocery store. Zara started sleeping through the night again. But me? I stayed up. I wasn't just waiting for him to slip up. I wanted him to. And then? He did. 2 days after the note, after his sidewalk breakdown, he left something on her windshield. Not flowers. Not a letter. A Ziploc bag. Inside? 2 rings. One was his old class ring. The other was a twisty silver band Zara had worn in high school. I'd seen photos. It looked like it had been burned, twisted out of shape with pliers. No note. No explanation. Just pain packaged. Zara found it at 6:40 a.m. on her way to work. She stood there in the parking lot, keys dangling, breath clouding the air like it was trying to hide her from the morning. When she showed it to me, I saw something change in her face. Not fear. Contempt. She said, he's not coming back from this. And that's when I knew. We weren't just surviving anymore. We were closing in. Grant contacted a friend in law enforcement who specialized in harassment cases. Said it was time to take the documentation up a level. We handed over everything. Even got a detective assigned to start a file, just in case. Meanwhile, Nolan started to unravel in real time. First came the texts. We blocked every number, but the burner accounts started flooding her email. Stuff like, you won't win. He doesn't understand you. You're lying to everyone. But the best one? The one that made me print it out and tack it to our fridge like a trophy? I'm still the first person who ever made you cry. Don't forget that. That line? That was his confession. His obituary in one sentence. Because here's the thing, men like Nolan? They think pain is ownership. They think proximity is affection. That just because they memorized your laugh once, they get to haunt your peace forever. But here's what they never expect. For someone to not fight. Just prepare. So I prepared. I met with Grant and Detective Ellis, the cop now building the case file, and we set up what he called a kill box. A trap Nolan wouldn't see coming. All legal. All paper trail. All fireproof. Step 1, we activated a hidden GPS beacon in Zara's car. Not to track her, but to catch anyone following or tampering with it. Nolan had done it once. He'd try again. Step 2, we parked her car in a different neighborhood. Safe. Monitored. My coworker's garage with a hidden camera set up. And we waited. 2 nights later? Boom. Footage showed Nolan walking up to the car. Put up. Bag in hand. But the dumbest part? He left a note inside the car. Like he thought she'd find it and we'd never check the footage. The note said I could have hurt him. I didn't. Tell him to back off. Tell me to back off? That was it. Ellis filed the harassment charge. Restraining order granted. Court date set. But the real kicker? Turns out Nolan's not just some ex-boyfriend with a god complex. He's on probation. Did 2 months for battery last year, bar fight, put a guy in the hospital over a spilled drink. Zara didn't know. I didn't know. But Ellis found it. And that changes everything. Because violating a restraining order while on probation? That's not a slap on the wrist. That's time. The court date's in 10 days. But Nolan doesn't know that yet. He doesn't know he's walking into a courtroom where every whisper, every message, every bag of rings is a nail in the coffin he built himself. Yesterday we passed him on the street. He didn't see us. Just stood there, hunched near the corner deli, talking to himself. Face red. Hair matted. He looked like a warning sign with sneakers. Zara reached for my hand. Not because she was scared, but because she wanted him to see. He didn't. But he will. Soon. Because I'm not just documenting anymore. I'm watching. I'm waiting. And this time, I'm not leaving a note. I'm letting the law do what he never thought it would. Speak louder than his obsession. Edit 2. Just got the call, Nolan didn't show up to his preliminary hearing. The court issued a bench warrant immediately. His probation officers already flagged it. If he gets pulled over for a broken tail light, he's done. Zara's quiet today. Not tense. Just breathing again. Funny how silence feels different when you're not scared of it anymore. We're not celebrating yet. But we did something small. We left the blinds open last night. First time in months. She lit a candle by the window. And for once, it wasn't to keep the dark out. It was to let us see each other clearly. Update 3. He didn't disappear like a ghost. He unraveled like a man too arrogant to believe the world had caught up. The last time I saw Nolan in person, he wasn't whispering outside a window, he was in handcuffs, still shouting her name like it was some kind of spell that could break through steel. Let me back up. 3 days after the bench warrant was issued, Detective Ellis gave us a heads up. Nolan had likely skipped town. Probation officer couldn't reach him. His last known location was a motel on the outskirts of Trenton, a rundown spot known for taking cash and asking no questions. Ellis was calm, professional, but I could see the shift in his posture. The subtle way cops get when they stop thinking suspect and start thinking fugitive. Zara took it hard. Not panicked, just weary. The kind of bone-deep dread that comes when you realize the rules don't always stop the ones who play dirty. That whole weekend, she didn't sleep more than a couple hours. I caught her rechecking the locks twice an hour, even though she never admitted it. I kept it together until I saw her standing in the kitchen, just staring at her reflection in the dark window like she was waiting to see something staring back. That's when I made the decision. I wasn't waiting anymore. I called a friend, Nathan, guy I met through Grant. Ex-military. Works private security now. Smart. Legal. Very quiet. I didn't tell Zara the details at first. Just said we were putting extra eyes on everything. Nathan ran a background scrape. Socials, aliases, old roommate interviews, phone pings from public Wi-Fi connections. The whole thing felt like hunting a phantom made of rage and bad decisions. What we found was gold. Nolan hadn't just skipped town. He'd followed someone. Specifically Zara's old college roommate Jasmine. They hadn't spoken in years. But she'd posted a story the week before, tagging a boutique hotel downtown. Zara had commented something innocent, looks amazing, and Nolan had seen it. Because of course he was still watching. Jasmine didn't even realize she'd been the breadcrumb. But he'd checked into the same hotel under an alias. Used a prepaid debit card and a fake name that Nathan's team cracked in 10 minutes. The real twist? He'd already been spotted. One of the hotel staff remembered him. Said he gave off creepy ex-energy. She'd seen him pacing the lobby, watching the elevators, scribbling in a spiral notebook that he tucked into his coat when someone walked past. That notebook would become the final nail. Nathan handed everything to Ellis. The moment it crossed his desk, the tone changed. Now it wasn't just stalking. It was evasion, impersonation, targeted harassment with intent to escalate. Warrant got upgraded. Local PD put out a bolo. And then karma clocked in. Tuesday morning, a barista downtown recognized Nolan from the flyer. He was sitting in the back of a coffee shop, hoodie up, notebook on the table, muttering to himself and flipping pages like he was decoding scripture. The barista texted a cop friend. 10 minutes later, Nolan was in cuffs. And the notebook? Filled cover to cover with obsessions. Drawings of Zara. Poems. Schedules. Sketches of her car. Imagined conversations where she forgave him, took him back, chose him over the coward. That's how he referred to me, the coward. 27 times. I counted. We weren't allowed to keep the notebook. But Ellis showed us excerpts. One entry stood out. I gave her time. I gave her silence. Now I'll give her truth. If I can't have her, I'll make sure no one feels safe pretending they can. That was it. That was the escalation. That was the evidence the judge needed to lock him down. Restraining order was reinforced. No contact, no proximity, no loopholes. And the best part? Violation now meant automatic jail time. But Nolan didn't fight it. Didn't plead insanity. Didn't even make a scene in court. He just sat there, shackled, staring at Zara like he was still waiting for her to blink first. She didn't. After the hearing, we walked out of the courthouse into the kind of winter wind that slaps you awake. Zara was quiet. Then she turned to me and said, "It's over, right?" And I wanted to say yes. I really did. But the truth? Stalkers don't end. They pause. So I told her the truth. I think the part where he scares us is over. But the echo's gonna stick around for a while. She nodded. Didn't flinch. Didn't cry. Just took my hand and walked with me like we were learning how to move forward in a world that finally started listening. But here's the part you weren't expecting. The night after the court hearing, Nolan's mother showed up at our door. Yeah, you read that right. Zara wasn't home, she'd gone to dinner with her sister. I was doing dishes when the buzzer rang. I almost didn't answer. But something told me to look. She was older, shorter than I remembered from a photo Zara showed me once. Wore her hair pulled tight like she was trying to keep her head from unraveling. She asked to come in. I said no. She asked if she could talk then. And against my better judgment, I stepped outside and sat on the concrete steps with her. She didn't defend her son. Didn't beg. She just said, "I'm sorry for what he did. I know that's not enough. I'm just tired of watching him set fire to things and expecting someone else to put them out." Then she handed me something. A shoebox. Old. Weathered. Taped on the edges. Inside? Letters. Photos. A USB drive. Evidence. Proof that Nolan's pattern didn't start with Zara. That this wasn't the first restraining order. Wasn't the first notebook. That his obsession didn't begin, it migrated. She said, I should have done this sooner. Maybe you'll do more with it than I ever could. Then she left. Didn't wait for thanks. Didn't ask for updates. Just left. I haven't opened the USB yet. Part of me doesn't want to know. But another part of me, the part that stood in hallways with a bat at 3 a.m. while my girlfriend cried herself to sleep, needs to. Because silence only protects the ones who don't deserve it. And Nolan? His silence was just a pause between violations. But not anymore. Zara and I are planning to move. Not far. Just enough. New building. New locks. New life. We won't leave a forwarding address. But I'll leave one thing behind. That first note I taped to Nolan's door? I'm framing it. Because it wasn't a threat. It was a promise. And I kept it. Final update. 10 years. That's how long he got. Not suspended. Not probation. Not some cushy rehab masquerading as accountability. A full decade behind bars. We sat in the back row of the courtroom when the sentence came down, Zara on my left, her sister on the right, Grant beside me, jaw tight like he'd been holding his breath since this began. When the judge read it, there was no outburst. No gasp. Just a quiet, stunned kind of peace. I didn't smile. Zara didn't cry. We just exhaled. Because that's what it felt like, finally getting to breathe without looking over your shoulder, without memorizing plate numbers, without whispering to the hallway shadows, it's probably nothing. But it wasn't nothing. It never was. Nolan's 10-year sentence came from a combination of charges: stalking, violating a restraining order, criminal trespassing, and unlawful surveillance. But the big one? Intent to commit harm. Remember that USB his mother gave me? We cracked it open 3 weeks before the trial. What we found wasn't just disturbing, it was strategic. Photos of Zara from years ago. Labeled folders. Notes about her routines, her family, her patterns. It was methodical. Obsessive. He wasn't just watching her. He was preparing for something. One file was titled Exit Plan. That was the nail. Even his own lawyer paled when the prosecution presented it. The DA didn't hold back. Said Nolan was a textbook predatory stalker with a pattern of escalation. The courtroom got quiet when they read one line from his digital journal. She's happiest when she forgets he exists. I'll make sure she remembers. When the sentence came, the judge didn't flinch. 10 years, she said. With no possibility of parole for the first 6. You are not just a threat to one woman. You are a threat to every woman you believe belongs to you. And just like that, the gavel came down. Afterwards, we walked out into the sunlight like we didn't quite trust it. Zara kept looking up, blinking like her body forgot how to exist in daylight not shaped like a spotlight. That night, she slept through without waking up once. I watched her for a while, half expecting the nightmare twitch, the midnight flinch. But it never came. She just curled into me like we were finally here. Like we'd actually made it. The weeks after sentencing have been strange. Quiet mostly. Calm in a way that doesn't feel temporary. Zara started leaving the house with her headphones in again. She signed up for a pottery class downtown. I found her sketchbook open the other day, first time in 2 years. She drew a front door. Open. Sunlight pouring through it. No shadows. Just space. We moved last week. Same city. Different zip code. No more memories in the walls. No more twisted locks or frozen doorknobs. We picked a place with big windows and a view of a dog park she loves. Every room feels lighter. I built her a bookshelf from scratch. She painted it yellow. Said it reminded her of mornings again. People keep asking if we feel safe now. I think they mean well. But safety isn't a switch you flip. It's something you rebuild in layers. In laughs you don't flinch at. In routines you stop questioning. In a world where walking to your car at night doesn't make your hands sweat. We're getting there. We're laughing more. Sleeping better. Planning a trip this fall, just the two of us. Somewhere quiet. Maybe a cabin with no cell service. Just trees, books, and stillness. That's what peace looks like now. Stillness. Not silence. Because silence is what Nolan tried to bury us in. But stillness? Stillness is what we earned. As for Nolan, he's serving his sentence in a medium security facility out of state. No visitors. No letters. His lawyer tried to appeal the no parole clause. Denied. I won't follow his story anymore. He doesn't get that. Not even my attention. Zara and I made a pact. The only time his name comes up again will be the day his sentence ends. And even then, it won't be fear. It'll be preparation. But we're not waiting for that. We're living. Finally, if you're reading this and you've ever felt watched, cornered, doubted, or trapped in a story someone else tried to write for you, listen to me. You are not crazy. You are not too sensitive. You are not the problem. Sometimes the monsters look like memories. Sometimes they smile when they hurt you. Sometimes they whisper instead of roar. But if you're still here, still breathing, then you already won the first war. Keep going. There's more light where you're headed. Trust me, we found it. And we're never letting it go again.